So, the inspiration for us on why we're here and why we do this. After the earthquake in 2010, I was in my medical residency. We went down to Haiti after the earthquake. And as you know, it was pretty rough down there right afterwards. Not completely unlike what you guys experienced here. Similar magnitude, just like completely devastated. So I met this woman who had been digging her family out of the rubble, and she went into preterm labor. Had contractions, baby was breached, they had to do a C-section to take the baby out, right? So it's hard to see a little bit in this picture, but I got the top photo from a nurse who brought this over, a Haitian nurse. She was like, oh, look at the baby, isn't the baby beautiful? Like, what a beautiful, beautiful baby, right? And I'm like, wow, is the baby crying? You know, like, no, baby's resting comfortably, right? Baby's very comfortable. That's a blue baby. Like, that's not good. Like, you don't ever get pictures of a blue, like, baby that's literally dying. In any event, we went over, we did basic CPR, life support type measures. Now you have a pink, beautiful little Maxwell. Now, it wasn't her fault. She didn't know how to recognize that something was wrong, and she didn't know what to do, even if she knew that something was wrong. So it was just an education gap. So that was a big deal to me, to where like we could kind of help out, because she had a cell phone, she had Wi-Fi, like she had taken a picture with her own phone, like, you know, like she had access to Google. She just didn't have a way to know kind of what was going on. So we put this information together for everybody to be able to know how to save a life, whether you can pay for it or not, whatever, we don't care. We give it all away for free, just so that people can kind of know what to do, so we can kind of avoid this if at all possible. The challenge with CPR just in general is there's a large gap of people feeling a little bit helpless, knowing what to do in the event of an emergency. So somebody collapses. It's not uncommon. Like literally in a gym setting, it's interesting, because a few weeks ago, I heard from a friend who said like he was in a Lifetime Fitness, person goes down, there's 30 people around the person, there's even a nurse there, and still everybody's like, doesn't look good, starting to turn blue, there's might be something, I don't know, like it's a real hesitancy on how to act. So when it's an emergency, you want to be able to just do something. So we're going to make it real easy today, not complicated, real easy, so you know what to do in the event that you find yourself in that situation. Okay? 70% of people, kind of in a poll, say that they would not feel comfortable, not really know what to do, and would feel kind of helpless if something like that happened. And a lot of the emergencies happen in a household. So there's not a whole lot of people around, it's just family members. So why learn CPR? Just to set it up, 400,000 people experience kind of a sudden cardiac arrest event out of the hospital setting each year. So like I said, 88%, so most occur in the home. All right, and the initial, it says 2 hours there, like the initial literally 5-10 minutes before help arrives is absolutely 100% critical. So CPR, kind of break it down, what's it stand for? Cardio, heart, pulmonary, your lungs, and then resuscitation, kind of get you into recovery. Okay, so just to kind of break it down so it's not all that challenging. Like as an anesthesiologist, they always told me, like as long as you know like blood is circulating around and oxygen is going in and out, you're going to be okay. Brain damage can happen within 4 to 6 minutes. So it starts happening quickly. The American Heart Association, which we work with quite a bit, has kind of a chain of survival that they like to kind of go through. It's just early recognition. That's what we're going to kind of talk about today. Make someone aware. In other words, you call 911, and then you start CPR. You start chest compressions. Okay, we're going to do hands only, so today we don't have to worry about mouth to mouth. Then we also have a defibrillator. We'll get it out. We have a defibrillator that we can show kind of how that's placed on, because I'm sure somewhere in this rec center we have a defibrillator. You know, so and those are absolutely life-saving. So here are the usual fears that people have with CPR. Okay, like fear of disease, like I don't know if they have something, I don't know, I don't want to do mouth-to-mouth with them, I'm not real sure what's going on there, whatever. A lot of hesitancy. With hands-only CPR, literally, it's only your hands, you're just touching them. Second one, liability. Like the nurse in the scenario I was talking about in the gym, the nurse had the concern that if something happens wrong, I could be sued if I try to help. I don't want to be in on a lawsuit on this kind of thing. Okay, there's a Good Samaritan Act, which means that if you try to actually help, if you're doing it in good faith and you're really trying to help, there's plenty of precedents through like court cases and whatnot. You don't have liability for that kind of thing. Unsure of skills, that fits right into there too. If you're unsure, like, I don't remember what they said, 30 compressions, 2 ventilation, I can't remember. Again, it's better than letting them sit there. It's an unsafe scene. For some reason, like, your safety would be at risk by trying to help them for whatever reason. You can clearly, like, take care of yourself in that scenario. Not a terribly likely scenario. It used to be the ABCs, like your airway, breathing, then we work on circulation. They kind of flip that. They find that when you're actually pumping on the chest, you're also kind of utilizing the lungs. You're kind of breathing for them because as long as their airway's open, your lungs, your chest is going down enough, so you're kind of breathing a little bit anyway. So by doing 30 compressions and then stopping and doing breathing, you are letting their blood pressure go all the way down to 0. And then as you're pumping, it's kind of slowly coming back up. Then right at the point where you're getting good again, stop. And then, so the time that it was actually up and well pressurized was actually pretty small. Compressions are by far and away the most important thing now. So this is an AED. I'm sure we have one around here. We'll find it. In the back, they have all these pads. There's some for adults, some for kids. Okay. They show you on here exactly where to place them. If you notice somebody getting kind of the universal choking sign, whatnot like that, you have abdominal thrust, what people call Kleiner maneuver. Okay. Right below the xiphoid, and we'll do that in the demonstration as well. That's kind of the proper way to do it. So, hands-only CPR, which is what our main focus is today. 2 things, and 2 things only, very simple. You notice somebody's down, you see them go down, whatever. Are you okay? They're not responding to you? Does everybody here have a cell phone? Okay, good. Pull your cell phone, put on speakerphone, put on 911, and then you just start pumping away. Okay. But right now, it's demonstration time. So I'll kind of walk through how to do this, and then we'll have demonstration, and any questions you guys have at all, we'll answer hopefully all of them if possible. Okay? All right, awesome. So we'll start with just simple CPR. Okay? So we have an adult, and then we have a baby. So with the adult, very few steps, right, involved in the CPR portion. Basically, you either find them down, you see them collapse, whatever, you're like, hey, Joe, are you okay? Joe's not saying anything at all, okay? One hand right over the other, interlace the fingers, do whatever you want, it's okay either way. You want to push down, on these it's pretty easy, because you can hear a click, okay? But you want it to be about a half to a third of their chest depth. Okay, that's kind of a long ways, okay? Especially like, usually you have cardiac events. As you get older, people have a higher propensity to have cardiac disease, okay? Also the cartilage gets a little bit more brittle, okay? Meaning that it's not impossible that if you do this, you can hear a crack, okay? That's a rib. I know it seems mean or whatever. Now, there's a little saying in the intensive care unit that we use that says, if you aren't cracking, you're slacking. Meaning that you're going to feel a few broken ribs, and that's okay. In this context, it's okay, all right? They're going to be real sore and angry after you save their life, but you've just saved their life, okay? So usually it's like 2 inches. So for adults, like 2 inches, as people get a little bit smaller, whatever, as you go down into like teens, baby, it's still the same thing, half to a third of the chest depth. Usually people, whenever they're doing it, will kind of note like it's a little bit harder than what I would have thought. Now we'll do them all on a table today, even though most people don't conveniently fall onto tables whenever they pass out. Placement on the chest, nipples right in the center on the sternum, okay? Right in the absolute middle of the chest. Okay, not down too low, not too high, just right between the nipple line, right here, okay? As we go down, you have kind of like where your kind of where your rib cage meets together, and there's a little bone down here. We're staying away from that whole area, okay? Little bones, sometimes they can kind of break off and stuff. We're staying away from that, okay? You're gonna push down about 2 inches, okay? And then the rate is 100 beats per minute, okay? So, how you remember that? The American Heart Association had like staying alive, you know, the beat to staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. You know the song, don't you? All right, you wanna do the beat for me? You wanna put down the bass line? Come on. All right, so, all right. Okay, so that's the kind of the rate. All right, so like, it'll seem, yeah, like staying alive, staying alive. Okay, now, it's also the beat to another one bites the dust. Dun, dun, dun. But we don't want that, right? So that's, you're putting out bad vibes. We don't need that at all, right? Exactly, see what I'm saying? So that's how we kind of, like, that's how you kind of know whether you're going like too slow. Because after a little while, you're like, dear God, is this ambulance ever going to show up? You know, like, it's too slow. Like, so if there's anybody else in the room or whatever, be like, hey, I'm getting tired. Can you, you know, like, you know, and then you just coach them like, all right, a little bit faster. I think you need to go a little bit faster, like pick it up, whatever, you know. But that's kind of your rate, okay? And that's kind of your depth. So what we've done, we said, hey, Joe, okay, just to review, Joe's not saying anything. Okay, now if Joe's just down there playing possum, when you start doing this, Joe will stop playing possum. Okay, so don't be like, they used to say, oh, we'll check for a pulse. They find that most people can't find a pulse on themselves whenever they try to find a pulse, okay? Even healthcare providers sometimes have trouble finding a pulse. So don't even mess with trying to find a pulse, I promise. Somebody goes up to you and starts doing this, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna like stop, you know, like playing coy at that point. But if you have another person and you're like, hey, we're in this awesome facility, there's gotta be an AED, will somebody go get an AED? You know, like have 3 or 4 people, just like we would have to right now, run around and try to find that thing, okay? There's likely one, okay? Now when they come back with one, they're like, I have it, but I have no idea how to use it. It's like, it's no problem, it's not that hard, okay? So, remove clothing. So while this is slowly going through it, you're still doing CPR, okay? Attaching firmly to the chest as shown. Okay, so I would put that one there, this one here.
Plug-in connector. Analyzing rhythm. Everyone stand clear.
At that point, that means don't touch the patient. Like, don't do this, otherwise, like, you're not going to get a good
Shock advised.
They want you to shock.
Charging. Everyone stand clear.
Another one, you're going to get shocked if you don't.
Everyone stand clear. Push the shock button.
If you're unsure which one that is, it's the blinking one, okay?
Shock delivered. Begin 5 cycles of CPR.
Now you're just beginning CPR again. That's it. Okay, now after 2 minutes, they'll come back on and they'll want to analyze the patient again, okay? What usually is the challenge is there's an electrical problem again, like through the heart, there's an electrical difficulty, okay? What this does is it's kind of like rebooting your computer with a hard reset. It shocks the heart all the way across and basically like gets it in the right rhythm. Okay, that's the whole reason to do one of these. It's not going to fire a shock if they don't need it. Okay, it's smart that way. So if they don't need it, if their heart doesn't have any electrical activity, it doesn't need one, they're going to just keep doing chest compressions. Then when the ambulance comes, they'll take it from there and they'll help in whatever way it needs to happen. Real quick again. Joe falls down. Joe, you okay? Joe doesn't say anything at all. Bring out your phone, dial 911. If anybody else is around, you say dial 911. Here, hard, fast, 100 a minute. Somebody else go get the AED. If there's nobody else around, or if there's no AED, you take turns as you're getting kind of tired. Usually say about every 2 minutes, switch with somebody.
So, if you do have to resume CPR, do you need to disconnect the pads?
No.
Just leave the pads.
Leave the pads. Because literally, like it makes him real sticky if I put him on it, you know, but like literally it'll be here and down here. Okay? So like when it's there, you don't need them off. You can just go ahead and keep going. The baby. So, baby, very similar concept, okay, to the adult, much less likely, that kind of stuff. For a baby, usually you only need 2 fingers, okay? Like usually you don't need like this kind of thing. The chest is too small. Usually you only need this. Now as you get in between, say like to a teenager, whatever like that, it's basically whatever you need in order to push the chest down to half. So if it comes to like, like as we get to like a teenager, sometimes just like one, like arm is kind of on. 911 again, you're doing this, just like you were with the adult. AED for a baby. They just have smaller pads. Okay, and they deliver a smaller shock. Okay, so the machine knows that you have this one in there because it sends a different signal whenever you plug it in. Okay, so it knows to like release less shock for a child or a pediatric patient. Okay, so it also has kind of like where to put these, and it has both the baby and the teen on here, so you can tell like you use these for the teens too. So poor Joe, at least he's not having a heart attack. He comes up and he's eating a hot dog, whatever. He's doing this. Joe's not looking so good. You come behind Joe. You say, Joe, I'm gonna help you. Okay, that way Joe like doesn't freak out. Like rib cage for Joe. Little bone right here. We're gonna go underneath that. Okay, gonna kind of go in the belly right here, just kind of below. And our direction of our thrust will be up and kind of out. So kind of like in this vector, so to speak. So what's going to happen is like you're pushing abdomen, you're pushing like the air that's kind of in the chest too, out the windpipe. Because what happens when you're choking is that some usually like hot dog's the easiest thing to visualize. It's gotten stuck in your trachea most commonly, and it's obstructing your ability to have air come in and out. Okay, so by pushing here, pushing like any kind of like air out, it's kind of helping the cough to have that, whatever it is, kind of projectile and fly out. If you do this for a little while, until Joe hasn't had enough air for a while, what happens to Joe is he passes out and he falls down. Be ready for that, because you're going to be right behind him. Okay, so like if he starts to get weak and kind of falls down, so you have to slowly lower Joe down to the ground. At that point, you start CPR. Okay, but it's not going to. We do thrusts in the way of kind of like what they call like the Heimlich maneuver. Okay, and you're just basically going to have Joe like that. You're going to be behind him. You make a little bit of a kind of like a little fist, like so. Have your thumb kind of like that, and you're kind of pushing up like this with them behind. You're behind them. Now it's 911 time. Okay, like while you're helping him with choking and stuff like that, most of the time it's taken care of, so it's not, like ambulances don't need to come and stuff like that. But like to choking, it's not going well. Somebody should call 911. Now, baby, same type thing for a baby. Usually you're either sitting down, like so. I'm gonna be up a little bit so everybody can kind of see, but you're gonna kind of hold the baby because like something has gotten kind of caught right here. Okay, you're going to push, okay, right here on the chest, just like you were doing if you were doing CPR, okay? So you're doing kind of chest and abdomen kind of pushes, so you have 5 like that, okay? And you're always kind of holding the baby, kind of like they call it football hold, the football position, okay? You're holding the head, because the head can obviously bobble, not like that, okay? So your movement is kind of like this and like that whenever you're kind of going over. And for like a good structure, you kind of like place your arm on your leg, okay? And then you give back slaps, okay? So 5 back slaps, turn over, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And like the thing that most people kind of forget is the holding of the head. Yeah, that one works.
That's perfect right there.
You're fine.